Well, there's never a dull moment. We had some fireworks on Friday with what might have been happening with phase one of some sort of deal between the U.S. and China. But if you really kind of take a look at, let's talk about soybeans for a second. They're in the crosshairs. Very interesting to see how things are lining up over there. We had overnight news of 140,000 metric tons of beans shipped to unknown. That's usually code for China. We'll see if that goes through, but that should be supportive of the market. But the market, you have to remind ourselves, we've already had a dollar rally. So you keep in mind the fact that we're getting the bullish news that we need on top of the fact that we've already had a dollar rally. I think that you want to look at the next psychological level. If you're a bull and you've seen the news come across the wires, $9.50 is going to be the next thing. Maybe we can get through that by the end of this week, but we're kind of bumping up against it right now in November beans. So again, that exports, good news, bullish, nice demand there. We have had a nice run up, so you got to be careful about getting too crazy. The market could backfill a little bit, even though it's been around a dollar rally. But lastly, I know we've had some weather that's also gotten in the way of some things. But if we continue to see this carry out get tighter and tighter and tighter, again, bringing China back to the forefront, that could really shape up to give us a decent story. Obviously, things have been colder faster than we thought they were going to be in a large part of where we're growing some soybeans. And so that's kind of affect things. And then if China does come back to the table, I think, what's interesting, and keep this in the back of your brains, is that we're maybe not seeing China come to the table in the hopes of getting sort of a trade deal done and then using soybeans to kind of kick that effort off with. They might be just coming back to the table because they know that these soybean prices we have today on our boards now might be a lot cheaper than they could be in the near future. That's something that really could be the case, where they're going to say that that's the reason why they're coming to the table, and they're saying that they're going to give some goodwill and start to buy some soybeans. But that goodwill could really be self-serving, because they think that those prices that they see now might look really cheap in the future. So that's why they might be getting on board. Something to keep an eye on. So as that carryover kind of gets tighter and tighter and tighter, things are going to get more interesting and maybe more volatile. So I'd keep an eye on those soybeans, because things are setting up so that if we do get that fundamental story tied together with China and the way things are setting up on that charts, it could get a little bit dicey to the upside. So keep an eye on that.